Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we are stepping into a story that challenges some of the most familiar assumptions about our past. Across mountains, deserts, islands, and high plateaus, there exist ancient structures so massive and so precisely built that they continue to puzzle historians, engineers, and archaeologists alike. For generations, we have been taught a simple narrative about human progress. That technology slowly improved over time, moving from primitive tools to modern machines in a steady, upward line. But when we look closely at certain ancient stone structures around the world, that story begins to feel incomplete. These monuments are not small, rough, or experimental. Instead, they are enormous, carefully planned, and executed with a level of accuracy that even modern construction would find challenging. Some of these structures are made from stones weighing tens, hundreds, or even thousands of tons. Others display surfaces polished to near perfection, flawless angles, and complex designs carved directly into some of the hardest rock on Earth. What makes them so intriguing is not just their size, but the apparent gap between the tools we believe ancient people had and the results they achieved. Today's video explores these extraordinary megalithic sites and asks a careful but important question. What if our understanding of ancient technology is incomplete? Rather than dismissing these structures as myths or exaggerations, we will look at the physical evidence itself, the stones, the measurements, and the engineering challenges they present. This is not about rewriting history overnight. It is about taking a closer look at the past, keeping an open mind, and acknowledging that human ingenuity may have reached remarkable heights far earlier than we once believed. So settle in, and let us begin this journey into the mysteries carved in stone. When examining these ancient structures more closely, what stands out immediately is not just their age, but their extraordinary scale and precision. Many of these monuments were built using stones so massive that even today, moving and positioning them would require advanced machinery, careful planning, and highly specialized engineering teams. Yet these stones were shaped, transported, and assembled long before cranes, engines, or modern construction tools existed. What makes this even more remarkable is the level of accuracy involved. Some blocks fit together so tightly that a sheet of paper cannot slide between them. Others display perfectly straight lines, sharp internal angles, and smooth surfaces carved into extremely hard rock. These are not accidental results, nor do they look like early experiments. They reflect intentional design, mathematical planning, and a deep understanding of materials. In many cases, the stones were quarried far from their final location, sometimes across difficult terrain such as mountains, deserts, or bodies of water. Transporting such immense weights would have required complex logistics, strong coordination, and a clear understanding of balance, friction, and force. These are challenges that modern engineers carefully calculate, yet ancient builders appear to have solved them without written manuals or digital tools. The precision seen in these structures also suggests advanced methods of measurement. Alignments with celestial events, consistent dimensions across large sites, and symmetrical layouts all point to standardized systems rather than guesswork. This level of consistency challenges the idea that ancient societies relied solely on simple tools and trial and error techniques. Instead of viewing these monuments as lucky achievements, it may be more accurate to see them as the result of highly developed knowledge systems that have not fully survived into the present day. One of the most difficult questions raised by these ancient structures is the clear gap between what history tells us about ancient tools and what we can physically observe in the stone itself. According to mainstream timelines, many of these monuments were built using basic tools made of stone, copper, or early iron. Yet when engineers and material scientists examine the finished results, those explanations often feel insufficient. Hard stones like granite, basalt, and andesite are extremely resistant to cutting and shaping. Modern construction relies on diamond-tipped saws, high-speed drills, and powerful grinding machines to work these materials efficiently. However, at many ancient sites, we find smooth curves, perfectly flat surfaces, deep internal angles, and consistent cuts that show no signs of rough workmanship or repeated correction. Even more puzzling is the absence of visible tool marks. In most known hand-carving methods, some level of irregularity is unavoidable. Small errors, uneven pressure, or surface waves usually remain. But in many megalithic structures, the stone appears uniformly finished, as if shaped using controlled, repeatable processes rather than manual trial and error. Archaeology also struggles with what is missing. There are no surviving tools capable of producing such results, no half-finished practice blocks nearby, and no clear examples showing a gradual improvement from rough to refined techniques. Instead, the construction appears to emerge suddenly at a high level of mastery. This disconnect forces us to reconsider long-held assumptions. Either ancient builders had access to methods and techniques that were later lost, or our understanding of their technological capabilities is incomplete. In both cases, the stone itself becomes the most honest witness, silently preserving evidence that challenges the limits we have placed on the past. Another striking pattern shared by many of these ancient megalithic sites is the absence of a clear learning curve. In most periods of human history, major technological achievements are preceded by smaller, rougher experiments. We usually find early attempts, mistakes, transitional designs, and gradual improvements that show how a society learned and refined its skills over time. With these stone structures, that progression is often missing. Instead of crude beginnings, the construction appears to start at an extraordinary level of precision. The earliest known examples at several sites already display advanced planning, consistent measurements, and refined execution. Walls are straight, angles are exact, and layouts follow strict geometric rules from the very beginning. There are no nearby trial structures, no discarded attempts, and no simplified versions that suggest experimentation. This sudden appearance of technical mastery is difficult to explain, using conventional models of technological development. Skills like large-scale stone cutting, precise alignment, and complex transport logistics usually require generations of accumulated experience. Yet the archaeological record at many megalithic locations offers no clear evidence of such a gradual buildup. Even unfinished structures add to the mystery. In some cases, work appears to have stopped abruptly, but the completed sections are already finished to an extremely high standard. This suggests that precision was not the final step of a long process, but something integrated from the very beginning. Such patterns challenge the idea that these achievements were the result of simple methods slowly improving over time. Instead, they point toward the possibility of an established body of knowledge already in place, one that may have been shared, preserved, or inherited, and then lost. The stones suggest that ancient builders were not learning as they went, but applying techniques they already fully understood. Beyond cutting and shaping stone, one of the greatest challenges faced by ancient builders was transportation. Many megalithic blocks were moved across vast distances, over uneven terrain, through mountains, deserts, or dense landscapes. Some stones weighed tens or even hundreds of tons, yet they were delivered with remarkable accuracy to carefully prepared construction sites. Moving such enormous loads would have required more than physical strength. It demanded planning, coordination, and a deep understanding of balance, friction, and terrain. Even today, transporting objects of this size involves teams of engineers, detailed calculations, and specialized equipment. The fact that ancient societies achieved similar results using methods we do not fully understand points to an advanced level of practical knowledge. These feats also reveal something important about social organization. Transporting massive stones is not the work of a few individuals. It requires large, disciplined labor forces, clear leadership, and the ability to sustain long-term projects. Food supplies, tools, schedules, and safety would all need to be managed over extended periods. What is particularly intriguing is that some cultures attempted projects that were ultimately abandoned, leaving massive stones partially quarried or unfinished. This suggests that ancient builders were pushing the limits of what they believed was possible, sometimes discovering those limits only through direct experience. Such efforts reveal ambition on a monumental scale. They show societies capable of mobilizing thousands of people toward a single goal, guided by shared beliefs, technical understanding, and confidence in their methods. These were not small or isolated communities working by chance, but complex systems capable of executing projects that still challenge modern engineering perspectives today. A common assumption in modern thinking is that human technology always moves forward in a smooth, upward progression. However, the evidence left behind by many megalithic structures suggests that knowledge does not always develop in a straight line. In several cases, later civilizations appear to have struggled to match or reproduce the achievements of those who came before them. At certain sites, we see massive projects that were started by advanced societies but never completed, even though these cultures possessed written language, organized governments, and large populations. This raises an important question. Why would a capable civilization begin a project that exceeded its own technical limits? The most reasonable answer may be that earlier methods or techniques were no longer fully understood. Instead of constant improvement, history may include periods of knowledge loss. Skills related to large-scale stonework, precise measurement, or heavy transport could have faded due to social collapse, shifting priorities, or environmental change. When later builders attempted to recreate these achievements, they may have lacked critical information that earlier cultures once possessed. This idea challenges the belief that older societies were always less capable than newer ones. In reality, knowledge can disappear as easily as it is gained. Wars, migrations, and natural disasters can break the chain of learning, leaving only the physical results behind. The megalithic record may represent the high points of forgotten systems of knowledge rather than isolated miracles. These structures stand as evidence that ancient understanding could reach extraordinary levels, decline, and then be rediscovered only partially, if at all. Recognizing this possibility opens the door to a more complex and realistic view of human history. Many of these megalithic structures are not only impressive feats of engineering, but also carefully designed tools for observing the sky. Their layouts often align with the movement of the sun, stars, and seasonal cycles, revealing a deep understanding of astronomy that goes far beyond basic timekeeping. Some sites are aligned precisely with solstices and equinoxes, marking key moments in the solar year with remarkable accuracy. Others reflect knowledge of star positions that slowly shift over long periods, suggesting observations carried out across many generations. Achieving this level of precision requires patience, careful record-keeping, and consistent measurement standards. What makes this even more striking is the time depth involved. Certain astronomical cycles unfold so slowly that they cannot be fully understood within a single human lifetime. Recognizing these patterns implies a culture that valued long-term observation and the preservation of knowledge over centuries, if not millennia. These stone structures may have functioned as more than ceremonial landmarks. They likely served as calendars, navigational references, and teaching tools, allowing knowledge to be passed down without written language. By embedding information directly into stone, ancient builders ensured it would survive long after individuals were gone. For societies deeply connected to agriculture, migration, or long-distance travel, understanding the sky was essential. The precision found in these alignments suggests not superstition, but careful scientific observation expressed through architecture. Rather than viewing ancient astronomy as primitive, these monuments invite us to reconsider it as a sophisticated system of knowledge, one that merged science, culture, and engineering into permanent structures designed to endure across ages. Another overlooked aspect of these ancient structures is the sophisticated understanding of materials implied by their construction. The builders did not treat stone as a uniform substance. Instead, they appeared to understand its internal properties, strengths, weaknesses, and long-term behavior under pressure and environmental stress. Different types of stone were chosen for different purposes. Hard volcanic rocks were used where strength and durability were needed, while softer materials were selected for detailed shaping or symbolic elements. In some cases, stones from distant sources were preferred over local materials, suggesting intentional selection rather than convenience. The precision of certain joints and surfaces implies more than basic carving. Some blocks interlock in ways that distribute weight evenly, increasing stability during earthquakes or long-term settling. Others show finishes so smooth and consistent that they resemble modern industrial processes rather than manual labor. There is also evidence that ancient builders experimented with heat, abrasion, or chemical processes to alter stone behavior. While the exact methods remain uncertain, the results point to a level of material experimentation that challenges the idea of purely primitive techniques. This knowledge allowed structures to endure extreme conditions, seismic activity, temperature changes, and erosion for thousands of years. Many modern buildings, by comparison, are designed for far shorter lifespans. By understanding stone not just as a building block but as a complex material, ancient societies achieved durability and precision that still impress modern engineers. Their achievements suggest a practical science rooted in observation, experimentation, and accumulated experience, much of which has not survived in written form. Behind every massive stone structure lies not only technical skill, but also a powerful social system capable of sustaining long-term projects. These monuments could not have been built quickly or casually. Many would have required years, even generations, of coordinated effort. This level of commitment suggests societies with strong leadership, shared purpose, and the ability to organize labor on a large scale. Workers needed to be trained, supplied, and protected, while resources had to be gathered and managed over extended periods. Such coordination points to advanced administrative planning, even in cultures without written records. What is especially notable is that these projects often outlasted individual leaders or builders. Construction continued beyond a single lifetime, meaning knowledge had to be passed down reliably. Techniques, measurements, and goals had to remain consistent across generations to maintain precision and alignment. This implies stable cultural traditions and education systems capable of preserving complex information over time. The monuments themselves may have functioned as both the result and the method of teaching, allowing new generations to learn by maintaining or expanding existing structures. Rather than being signs of simple societies, these megalithic sites reflect communities with discipline, hierarchy, and long-term vision. They reveal civilizations willing to invest enormous effort into projects whose value lay not in immediate gain, but in permanence, symbolism, and continuity. Such organizational capability challenges the idea that early societies were short-term or survival-focused. Instead, they appear to have been forward-thinking, capable of planning far beyond the present moment, and confident that their work would endure long into the future. These megalithic structures were not built simply to impress or demonstrate power. Their scale, durability, and careful placement suggest a deeper cultural purpose tied to permanence, memory, and identity. In a world where materials like wood and earth decay quickly, stone offered a way to anchor beliefs and values across time. By building in stone, ancient societies created lasting markers that connected generations to a shared past. These monuments likely served as gathering places, ceremonial centers, or symbols of unity. Their enduring presence reinforced social cohesion and reminded communities of their origins, responsibilities, and place within the natural world. Many structures also reflect a strong connection between culture and the environment. Alignments with the sky, landscape, and seasonal cycles suggest that these societies saw themselves as part of a larger system, rather than separate from it. Stone became a medium through which they expressed this relationship. The effort required to construct such monuments also implies that they held great meaning. No society commits enormous resources to a project without believing it serves an essential purpose. Whether spiritual, scientific, or symbolic, these structures carried significance that justified the sacrifice involved. This focus on permanence contrasts sharply with modern priorities, where speed and efficiency often outweigh durability. Ancient builders seemed willing to invest in creations meant to last thousands of years, not decades. In doing so, they left behind messages carved in stone, statements of who they were, what they valued, and what they hoped would be remembered long after they were gone. As more of these megalithic sites are studied with modern tools, the physical evidence itself increasingly challenges established historical timelines. The stones, measurements, and alignments do not rely on written myths or legends. They exist as tangible data that can be tested, measured, and compared using modern science. In several cases, the level of precision found in ancient structures appears inconsistent with the era they are officially assigned to. Astronomical alignments point to skies that match dates far earlier than expected. Construction techniques seem to require mathematical understanding, standardized measurement, and material control that do not comfortably fit within conventional historical frameworks. What makes this especially compelling is that stone does not exaggerate or forget. Unlike texts, which can be lost, edited, or misinterpreted, physical structures preserve their original intent with remarkable accuracy. Angles remain fixed, distances unchanged, and alignments continue to point exactly where they were designed to point. This forces historians and researchers into a difficult position. Either the timelines need refinement, or the capabilities of ancient societies have been underestimated. In some cases, both may be true. History is not static. It evolves as new evidence emerges. Rather than viewing these discrepancies as threats to historical understanding, they can be seen as opportunities. They invite deeper investigation, improved dating methods, and more interdisciplinary collaboration between archaeology, engineering, and astronomy. The stones themselves are asking questions, not demanding answers, but encouraging us to look again, measure more carefully, and remain open to the possibility that human history is far richer and more complex than a single timeline can fully capture. When all of these elements are considered together, the scale, precision, organization, astronomy, material knowledge, and unanswered questions, a broader picture begins to emerge. These megalithic structures are not isolated anomalies. They appear across different continents, cultures, and time periods, yet they share striking similarities in purpose, execution, and ambition. This pattern suggests that ancient human societies may have been more interconnected, knowledgeable, and capable than we often assume. Rather than seeing early civilizations as simple or limited, it may be more accurate to view them as diverse cultures that developed sophisticated solutions suited to their environments and needs. Importantly, this perspective does not require rejecting established history outright. Instead, it encourages flexibility and curiosity. Human progress may not have followed a single, straight path. Knowledge could rise, spread, disappear, and reappear in different forms across thousands of years. The stones themselves do not tell us who their builders were or exactly how they worked. But they do tell us what was achieved, and what was achieved is often far more impressive than the stories we tell about the past. By approaching these ancient structures with an open but critical mindset, we gain more than answers, we gain better questions. Questions that push research forward and deepen our understanding of humanity's long journey. In the end, these monuments remind us that the past is not silent or simple. It is complex, layered, and still full of discoveries waiting to be made. And perhaps the greatest lesson they offer is humility, the realization that human ingenuity did not begin with us, and it certainly did not move in only one direction. As we step back and look at the full picture, these ancient stone structures stand as powerful reminders of humanity's deep and complex past. They show us that long before modern technology, people were already observing the skies, organizing large communities, mastering materials, and thinking far beyond their own lifetimes. What remains today is not just stone, but evidence of curiosity, cooperation, and vision. These monuments challenge us to rethink simple explanations and stay open to new discoveries. They invite us to ask better questions, to respect the intelligence of ancient cultures, and to recognize that human history is filled with chapters we are still learning to read. The past is not something fixed and finished, it continues to evolve as our understanding grows. Thank you so much for spending your time with us today and exploring this story together. If you found it interesting, do not forget to support the channel and share your thoughts in the comments. Your curiosity keeps these conversations alive. Until next time, take care, stay curious, and we will see you in the next story.